Change. We encounter it every day, in the big changes and in the small ones. Change can be something as big as a move across the country, or something as small as the latest Snapchat update. It is the act or instance of making something different, and it helps to make us the people we are today. Some people are averse to change, while others willingly seek it out. Regardless of which of these people you are, I urge you to embrace the positive changes in your life, because you never know what will come of them. When I was 13 months old, I experienced the first major change in my life. My little brother. I had gone from being an only child in perfect bliss to a big sister who now had a competitor for mom and dad's love and attention. As you can imagine, Will and I had our ups and our downs. Though I'm sure it was difficult at first, I eventually accepted the fact that this new addition to the family was seemingly not going anywhere, and I decided to make the most of it and make him my best friend, for a few years at least. This change may not have been one I always welcomed, but seeing as I've spent exactly 94.2% of my life with my brother, trust me, I did the math, it's safe to say he's at least had a little bit of an impact on who I am. Fast forward 4 years. I am age 5 and entering kindergarten. School was a major adjustment for my family and I. The original plan was for my brother and I to be homeschooled, but circumstances led us to our local church school. I went from playing all day under the supervision of my mom to sitting in a classroom with 24 other 5-year-olds learning how to read. I had homework every night and could no longer play or watch TV right away when I got home, which you can imagine be quite appalling to a 5-year-old. On top of this, I now had a new baby sister, who I quickly adopted as my mini-me, and my dad had just started a new job at the Oakridge School. Though I may not have known it then, my dad's new job would have a major impact on who I was later down the line. 8 years later, age 13. It is this year that my family, with the added addition of 2 more little sisters, decides to make what I still consider to be one of the biggest changes of my life. We moved to Oakridge. I had been at my old school for 10 years, having known many of my 42 classmates there for most of my life. But another change was on the horizon, high school, and it was decided to make the adjustment just a year early. And so I entered Oakridge as an 8th grader, excited about all the new opportunities, but scared to make new friends, something I'd never had to do before. The changes this year were endless. I had a locker at school, I was in classes with different people, and I was practicing for a sport after school nearly every day. This change opened up a world of possibilities: yearbook, student council, and the swim team, to name a few, that I never would have had in another school. All these things became a small part of who I am, and without this change, I never would have encountered them. Fast forward 3 more years. This is when a bunch of changes happen all at once. I enter high school, I learn how to drive, and I get my license. I start to realize that I'm growing up. At first, I was terrified of this fact. What was going to happen when I was out on my own? But all that changed when I took a 3-week trip to Northern Ireland to stay with a family friend, Orla. I had only traveled in a plane once before and had certainly never traveled abroad. But here I was, 16 years old, trying to navigate an airport with only another of my close friends for help. While I was in Ireland, I did so many things that helped me learn that I could be independent and take care of myself. I navigated bus schedules, train schedules, swam in the ocean for the first time, and went on a 4-day camping trip with Orla and 4 of our other friends. For those of you who don't know this, Ireland's typical weather forecast includes rain. A lot of rain. And it was for this reason that the first day of our camping trip was spent running for shelter under a tree as all our belongings got drenched behind us. It may have been a rough 4 days filled with waterlogged shoes, but we survived and had a great time. This realization led me to embrace my time in high school instead of looking back at the past or worrying about the future. The future. It's finally here. And yes, I know this is a paradox. How can the future be now? I only mean that for those of us in the room that graduate in exactly 58 days, the future that we thought of as kids is upon us. Some of you, like me, may still be slightly terrified because you don't know what's going to happen next. But the thing is, we spend most of our lives not knowing what's going to happen next, and we've managed to survive these past 18 years. So what's to stop us from embracing change, letting it shape us, letting it teach us, and letting it lead us to even brighter and better things? After all, if there's one thing I've learned from it, no matter how waterlogged the present may seem, we'll learn how to swim in the future. Thank you.